Good morning. Depending on where you're tuning in from in the world, welcome back. I'm Mr. Bitcoin Maxi, and we're all Bitcoin Maxis. So today, I wanted to share this article I came across last night. And last night, I was mapping out what I wanted to do with this channel. And it's crazy because I have so much planned for this channel that I wish I could share with you all. But for the sake of not being able to talk about it, because I don't want people to take my idea, how I'm going to go about my channel and educating the world on Bitcoin, let's say, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a nice journey. And when I was doing it, I came across this news article that I wanted to share with you all and talk about it. So, Japan panic buys Bitcoin, governments and now your competition. All right. So Japan has just crashed the Bitcoin party with state-backed cash. Now, one cautious around crypto, they used to be cautious around crypto, Japan, and now the country is now wiring government money straight into the mining stack with a 4.5 megawatt hydro-cooled operation powered by surplus renewable energy and set to go live late 2025. Now, this is not a side quest, okay? Japan is becoming the 11th nation effectively mining Bitcoin as a nation. For traders, this is a market warning. Now, governments are no longer watching from the sidelines. They are stepping into the field and competing for the same coins you and I buy, and some of you might trade on the daily. Now, Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, METI, is calling the shots, orchestrating the move. The ministry has teamed up with Canaan Inc. and TEPCO to deploy hydro-cooled Bitcoin rigs powered by surplus renewable energy, with a project set to go live in late 2025. Now, this is going to be a wake-up call for traders, for you and I, right? Or accumulators, should I pretty much put it. So state-backed mining flips the script completely, okay? So Bitcoin has a hard cap. A lot of us know that, 21 million, right? Some have already been lost. A lot have been lost. And now you've got governments quietly stacking sats while ETFs keep scooping up supply like it's free samples at Costco. Now, that's not the market structure. That's a slow motion supply choke. This isn't Japan flexing for clout. It's a warning shot. If other big economies decide they want in and start mining Bitcoin on purpose, the supply side can vanish faster than a degen smashing all in on a green candle. Sovereign flows are no joke, okay? So, what does this mean? So, governments are now your competition, okay? Now, that line in the article captures it. When sovereigns panic, can't talk this morning, and move into crypto, it flips the narrative. So, a lot of you, including myself, have seen things online where countries are starting to buy it. Countries are starting to buy it, and this is going to be the norm. And we're just at the tip of the iceberg, you have to understand. So when a country starts panic buying Bitcoin, right, they signal that fiat sovereign debt, uncontrolled money printing, is losing trust. Because the US dollar is the world reserve currency, and you might have heard that BRICS nations are trying to get away from the US dollar. And so what happens when the dollar gets dumped? Well, you have a lot of that money getting flowed back into the country, and it creates really bad inflation. All right. So for us Bitcoiners, that is exactly the environment where stacking matters the most. If states are accumulating or acting as adversaries, our individual accumulation becomes strategic. And this is why it's important. You have to understand that time in the market is better than timing the market. And for me, no matter the price of Bitcoin, I'm always continuously buying, okay? So putting it this way, the game is no longer crypto versus stocks only, all right? It's you and me versus the state in terms of preserving purchasing power and freedom. So with governments raising debts, right, printing money, engaging in subsidy programs, mounting inflation risk looms, Bitcoin offers a hedge. So in my opinion, like I posted yesterday, Right now, the adoption of Bitcoin is growing faster than the adoption of the internet. And all of a sudden, we see an explosion in the internet, and we're going to see the same thing in Bitcoin. That's why I started this channel, because I'm like the guy at the mountaintop trying to be like, hey, over here, and trying to educate everybody, like the world, on Bitcoin. And looking at my analytics and my data, I can see what works and what doesn't. I'm a very data driven guy, right? I don't want to put a stereotype on it or disrespect anybody in any way, but I'm a nerd in a way. I love tech. I've loved tech since I was a kid. And so when I started learning about Bitcoin, it just really clicked with me. It took me a long time to read books. It took me a long time to understand what it is. And so everybody gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. And I'm going to make a separate video on that, because I really want to get my thoughts out on that. Because in my opinion, Bitcoin is something that everybody should take the time to understand. And once you take the time to understand how it works, then you start understanding, okay, I like this. This is tech, but it's also money and a store of value. It's an asset. And so when the article shows a government stepping in, that normalizes a mindset shift. Governments will increase their involvement in crypto either via holdings or via regulation, meaning competition for supply could intensify. So you have to understand that these governments, look at El Salvador, right? They're buying Bitcoin, and El Salvador is thriving. And their economy used to really be bad. And to be honest, one little hidden gem I'm going to give you all, if you're stuck with me so far in this video, is I'm going to be traveling to El Salvador. I'm not going to say what I'm going to be doing, but that's coming in the future. All right. It's not coming soon, but it's coming in the future. And that's a little hint for you all where I'm going to go with this channel, but it's going to be in a separate direction than you might be thinking. So anyway, if the supply of Bitcoin is fixed, right, 21 million cap, and governments begin accumulating, that means less for retail. We should consider stacking sooner rather than later. So I don't know, did I say that earlier? I think I did. But we want to make sure that we are stacking Bitcoin. And even if you are somebody buying gold, buying silver, in my opinion, it's still good if you haven't been buying Bitcoin to start accumulating Bitcoin, because you have to understand the 21 million, right? There's 21 million, some have already been lost. And you want to get a piece of that before the returns might not be as good in the future as they are now when you're early. And a lot of people think that even at like, what is it, $95,000 Bitcoin, the price today, November 15th, 2025. So that's something to take consideration. You know what sucks? Side note, I always love going out and shooting my videos when I'm not writing my scripts. Today was just off the fly, because I know a lot of you guys like these videos where I'm just talking to you one-on-one instead of me sitting down for hours and writing my script. But yeah, it's raining outside, so sorry, apologies for that. I know you guys like that when I go outside, but when it's not raining, I'm gonna go outside. So for us, right, this is normalizing the idea. Yes, governments will act. Yes, institutions will pile in. Yes, the turn is happening. So the question becomes, are you ready? So are you ready for the world to start adopting Bitcoin? Because I know I am. And Bitcoin is going to be normalized. Now, a video that I have coming up around Christmas time, should I say, I was looking into where I could buy Bitcoin gift cards. And I'm not going to say the video that I'm going to do regarding that, but I plan on coming out with a video on Christmas Eve. It has something to do with that. So in my area, I found that they have Bitcoin gift cards in Kroger. So eventually, that's going to become the normal. You're going to be able to buy gift cards more and more in more stores. So Bitcoin is already being recognized by governments. Governments are starting to recognize that, look, we should get on this before we're late to the party, pretty much. So on a tactical note, dollar cost averaging aggressively. If states are stacking, you don't want to wait for the perfect entry. Now, I see a lot of comments maybe not a lot, but I see comments on my channel. It's saying Bitcoin's gonna crash. Don't buy now. The thing is that what if it doesn't? What if the bears are wrong and 35K is not coming? Then you have to understand that you're going to buy higher later on if you're buying now, or if you're going to wait to buy because you've been hearing all these people, all these price predictions coming out. And that's why, like, I don't knock anybody for how they make their content, but for me, I don't pay attention to those daily price actions and, oh, why did Bitcoin drop today, or why did Bitcoin skyrocket today? And like, I don't really look too much into that. I mean, I've made videos regarding that just to cover it, but for me, it's not a big deal. What a big deal to me is the level of adoption that's going on around the world. And that's something that I want to cover in this channel. It's another little hint where I'm going to go with the future of this channel. So secure your holdings like a hardware wallet, self-custody. When governments engage, regulatory risks rise. Self-custody is your defense line. Please, 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 when you buy, take it off exchanges, okay? Because if the exchange goes down, then the exchange takes your Bitcoin, right? And so that's why a lot of times you'll hear crypto channels tell you that if you don't take it off exchanges, then you're at risk. You're basically your own bank. All right. So keep your long horizon. Stacking Bitcoin isn't about short-term trades when states are playing the long game. Now, they want to mine Bitcoin, right? For example, Japan's getting into Bitcoin. They're mining Bitcoin now. And so that's another player in the game that's going to be competition between you and I. So it's not just you and I stacking Bitcoin and trying to get our rank up high on the blockchain. Now we're going to go against governments. And governments, even though they might be in debt, they still have money to be able to deploy into doing things like this, stacking Bitcoin, start a mining farm, right? And so you want to educate yourself as far as your mindset shift, okay? So channels like mine, it's a good opportunity to understand and get motivated to start stacking and not sell. That's why I try and make these daily videos for you all to understand that you have to take the time to understand Bitcoin, but at the same time, you have to be responsible about not making sure you're over leveraging yourself to where you have to sell and then you are frustrated at yourself because you put too much into Bitcoin more than your cash flow is coming in. And then you're like, dang, I have to sell Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin goes up and then you might have bought at a lower price. So please, not financial advice in this video as always, but please just take that into consideration. All right. So this is not a fringe scenario. This is becoming the norm. Governments competing for Bitcoin means we, the Bitcoiner community, must race to stack, secure, and hold. Otherwise, we're knowingly giving up the game. All right, I had to cut that part out because I thought my mic went out. My apologies, but it didn't. So I don't know. I've been having problems with this. Every time I buy a mic, I have an issue with it. So it seems like I gotta get a new one already. So, anyways, with that being said, just please understand that now Japan is getting in and other nations are going to follow more and more and more. So the key takeaway of this video is please don't wait to buy Bitcoin. It's not financial advice, but please don't wait to buy Bitcoin because you don't want to be one of the ones buying when Bitcoin is 500,000, 1 million, because even though I always tell you all that Bitcoin is going to go up forever, the earlier you get in, the better returns you're going to get in the long run, especially if you hold, keep stacking, and it's compounding in your portfolio. All right. So I might come out with another video today. If not, I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. And if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you made it this far, thank you. As always, I appreciate every one of you that actually watch and engage with my content. And we're just getting started here as a community. And I can't wait for the channel to grow and go into the direction that I plan on it going. So with all that being said, I'm Mr. Bitcoin Maxi. We're all Bitcoin Maxis, and I'll see you all in the next video, and I hope you all have a good day.